Hey everyone, this is Baylor, and I've been getting a lot of comments asking me how I have my PHP unit set up on my Mac in my editor. So my editor is actually TextMate, which I didn't open this up. It's macromates.com, I believe. It's a Mac-only editor, but there's actually an editor called I think, Text Editor for Windows, which is the power of TextMate on Windows. So you can see this right here. Basically, it should run everything that I'm doing, except it's for Windows computers. So this is the editor I'm using. It's just a really handy, very simple editor. It's not my everyday editor. Normally I use Vim, but Vim doesn't do very good screencasts because there's a lot of little things that it does you can do so quickly that I don't think it's very fun to watch people that use Vim unless they go real slow, and I'm afraid that I might not. So I use TextMate here, and there's also eEditor for your Windows. So that's the editor that I'm using. I have a setup pair going to pair.php.net, and I got it so I could run PHPUnit. It's a lot easier to install it that way. So what you do is I just went over here to pair, said install and clear on your system, and I went to this getting started right here. And I went down to the Mac OS 10. I actually followed the Linux, this part right here. I didn't run this -d, detect Unicode, whatever thing. I actually just ran wget. I installed wget on a Mac. Or you could just go to this and download this file and just put it somewhere, and then we'll go to that directory and run this command, and it asks you to install it. Basically, I installed mine into user local because this is kind of where you put your local bin files for bash and zsh and whatever else you do for command line. Put mine in user local pair right here. So this is where mine is installed, and basically I just have inside of the bin directory, I think I have this command, no. Basically inside of here I have this bin directory that has the pair itself and PHPUnit, the executables, and then you have this share directory, pair, and then this is where all the stuff for PHPUnit is stored down in here right here. You can see this is where PHPUnit stuff sits, and this is how it all works. Basically, for my setup, I just went in and will view the etc. php.ini file, and you can see where I added this bit right here for user local pair share pair. This gets me to an include path. So as you can see, by default it loads files relative to the current directory, and then it also does this PHP includes, which I don't know what all is inside of there. And then you can see I added a colon, and I just added my directory for all the pair stuff. So it's a pretty simple setup. And that's how I can run PHPUnit. So if I go to applications, MAMP, htdocs, sites, demo.com, and what is that, PHP split, I believe is what we're using. If I run PHPUnit with colors on my test file here, then you can see that's kind of how I would normally, that's just how it would normally look when I'm in Vim. Because what I would do here is, if you're using Vim, maybe this will be kind of cool to you. Just go to the current directory, open up that test file, and then I map Command A, because I check my leader A, I guess, leader A, and I say I want to save this file, and then I also want to run PHPUnit with colors on the current file. And when I run Command A, you can see it pops it up for me real quick. So this is my normal workflow, especially with Ruby and RSpec. Now with the TextMate setup though, what I did is I put in TextMate PHPUnit, this right here, and it pulled me up with this PHPUnit TextMate bundle here, and I just ran through the installation. It's a really simple process. If it'll load, you probably don't have to see the page. Just down at the bottom in the README section, it actually shows how to install it. You just run a couple commands, and then I went into TextMate. I never run, and then I went to TextMate, and you can't see this, unfortunately, but if you go to Bundles, Bundle Editor, you can see Reload Bundles. It's a button, which is off screen. I'm sorry for that, but basically that's what I did. And I was able to install PHPUnit. the TextMate bundle. Now, what this allows me to do is if I go ahead and open up this source right here and put this back into a screencast section. There we go. And this is actually the wrong place. This is actually where I was originally writing it. So here we are. This is the right file. Basically what I can do is I can go to this test file, and let me just open up the bundle editor real quick. And I went down into the PHPUnit thing, and I said for run test, I want this to be mapped to Command R. You can see it only works in PHP files. And it runs all this stuff for this run test PHPUnit thing. It runs this little file here. Basically what it does, we can look at the source, I guess. It's kind of a hard source file to get to. I think it's in CD, library, application support, TextMate, bundles, and we'll just do mate, and we're going to pull up PHPUnit.bundle. So this is it right here. Basically it goes in, if we look at this file right here, see it goes to bundle support. Well, that's going to go to this directory here. It opens up this run test.rb file. I don't know if I changed anything here or not. Yes, I did. By default, I think it just looks like this. We can actually look at the source over here. Support run tests. And you can see by default, it tries to just load this PHPUnit right here. This didn't work for me, so I actually had to add in this user local pair bin section right here. And basically what that does is it just makes sure that it loads PHPUnit, the executable, directly, and it had problems without that. So that's the only change I made to this file. I think I even changed it on the run single test here as well, as you can see. So that's all I did here. And the other thing that I did is I went to the PHP section where it has, let me just filter to commands. Commands, run right here, and I just took this one out because I never even used this little run PHP stuff. So run test, run single test is Shift Command R, which means I can go in to here, and I can go inside of this test and run Shift Command R, and it tries to run a single test. Okay, so single tests aren't working. I don't know what the problem is. I don't really use that, so I'm not too upset about that. Sorry if it's not working, but basically I can just hit Command R, and this is just all this is all this little bundle here. If we go back over here, this is all this little bundle. I'm sure somewhere there's a CSS file, results.html.erb. This is probably where it's at. See here the CSS message. If it's passed, it gives you that green color, color white. If it's a fail, you can see it's going to be a reddish color. I don't know the hex code for that. That's actually probably an orange color. This maybe is red because it's an error. Nope, I got that backwards. So error is probably like a PHP error. So that's all this is. You can see it runs and almost gives you kind of like the PHPUnit section in command line. So if we go back to this directory, and I run that PHPUnit again here, you can kind of see the comparison of that. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, because I wasn't clear, if I didn't do something right, didn't explain something the way you needed it, just let me know and I'll try to make another video, hopefully explaining it better. So thanks for watching this video, and goodbye.